What up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. Give a shout out to Aaron Brungardt, the producer. And yeah, we're just recording this in the middle of the Netflix is a Joke comedy festival, but we got a lot of stuff about soccer to talk about. Chelsea, basically, this weekend, letting Everton off the hook. Very disgusting display by Chelsea. And we're going to talk about that with Neil and have an intervention about what his team is not doing. And we're going to talk about Manchester United beating Brentford. We're going to talk Champions League, how Liverpool took the hard road to beat Villarreal today, as opposed to the easy road that was just set out in front of them. Actually, it ain't easy to beat Villarreal. They will give you trouble at home, and that's exactly what happened. And what else we talk about? We talk about Man City and Liverpool in the Premier League, just straight up handling their business and doing what they got to do. And they're at 1 point ahead of the other. And this race for the title might go down to the wire. And whatever else comes up, that Chelsea having trouble being sold. There's new shit popping off every day over there. Will Ronaldo, or should Ronaldo stay at Manchester United? And Spurs and Arsenal, who's going to get fourth? And we'll just, keep it going. So thanks for listening. If you're listening on iTunes, at All Things Comedy, Spotify, and Omni Studio. And if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. We appreciate you. And leave some comments after you listen, after you watch. And the sponsor for the show is onthevolleyapparel.com. And if you go to onthevolleyapparel.com, put /soccer, you'll also be able to access the Soccer Comic Rant t-shirts and use the promo code Comic Rant. You get 20% off on anything at the site. We have the usual suspects. We have Lee Hudson, stand-up comic from England, Southampton fan. Is that a Southampton shirt?
I got SC Porto on today.
SC Porto, okay.
They're one result away from winning the Portuguese league. So,
all right.
Yeah, I'll throw that on this week. I don't want to really claim my club this week.
I forgot to score your game. You lost to Crystal Palace. All right.
Yeah, we were winning 1-0 for most of the game, and then we just 1-0 half time. Second half, we just threw it away. 92nd minute, conceded the goal for 2-1. So, yeah, it was a bad day. Yeah,
but you got 40 points. You're good. You knew once you got 40 points, the team was going to stop playing. I know in the half, they got to the 90-minute mark. Like, wait a minute, we're up 40 points. Why are we suffering? Let Crystal Palace have some points. It doesn't matter. And we got Neil Chakravarty, and he's just wearing a regular white T-shirt, not representing Chelsea, and I don't blame him. Oh, what does it say? My screen isn't big enough to read that.
It says made in Cobham.
So it's a knockoff. It's something you buy outside the stadium when you're leaving, when you can't get a real Chelsea shirt. Is that what it is?
Well, actually, slightly better than that.
Okay.
but yeah, it is some guy on the internet somewhere making these.
Some guy on a freeway ramp selling merch, Chelsea merch.
You're not making those and selling them on Etsy, Neil? Are they yours?
I think if I try selling these, it'll be like just academy stuff.
Whatchamacallit?
Probably won't sell as much. Yeah,
Chelsea can't even sell merch, right?
Yeah.
So now you guys got to make your own Chelsea merch.
Yeah.
That's too bad. You guys want to talk about Champions League first? Liverpool versus Villarreal, and
actually, Lee. I mean, you have the Porto shirt on. Luis Diaz had a great game.
He did, yeah. He made the difference when he came off the bench. Mm-hmm. Guys are live wire. I mean, it's incredible how good he's looked so quickly for them. But there's no acclimation period at all. He's in there doing it from the off as soon as he signed. And it's going to be interesting to see how good he can be. Because he's still young, he's still settling in. So I mean, yeah, the guy's just a talent. But yeah, he came off the bench, and because that was a hell of a first half from Villarreal. Really, really put Liverpool to the sword. It was expected as well because that's what they've tended to do in their Champions League games. They've been defensive away from home. Then at home they go for it. When they played Bayern at home in the last round, they had them first at home and they could have beaten them by 4 or 5 goals, but they only beat them 1-0, and then they went and defended away from home. So yeah, expected them to go at Liverpool, and they did it pretty well. Got their 2 goals, but then it was a combination of Liverpool being strong that second half and also poor goalkeeping for a couple of those goals as well. So it kind of cost them. But that was my inkling. I mean, I even put it in the chat before. I was like, Villarreal could make this interesting, but I think Liverpool will be too strong, and that's the way it panned out.
Yeah, I knew they could always make it interesting, but I don't know. I don't include the Juventus win because Juventus wasn't that good this year, but that beating Bayern over 2 legs is pretty impressive. So I'd worry about any team that could do that. And 2-0 was not a great score for Liverpool, and you saw the amount of danger the 2-0 cost today. But, Liverpool had stuff on the bench that Villarreal didn't have, and they put it on the field, like you mentioned, Luis Diaz, and they used it, and it made an even stronger front 3. And because they've kind of upgraded Firmino with Jota, but now they can upgrade Jota with Luis Diaz. So, which is kind of a crazy thing to be able to do. And you shift Mane over to playing the 9, Diaz on the left, and then you got to come in at you from all sides. Good luck, no matter how much your fans cheer. It's almost like when you cheer for your team, Diaz takes that as if you're cheering for him, and that just puts energy into him. He's fueled by enemy cheers. You know what I mean? It's like a charging station. That dude just keeps going. Another thing, I was kind of watching some of the show, the post-game show. They have a really good, fun post-game show with Jamie Carragher. They switch it up, but today it was Jamie Carragher, Micah, and Thierry Henry. And damn it, I forgot her name, but she's pretty fucking good. Kate, I think. Do you remember her name, Neil? Do you get to see it? But I forgot her name.
No, I'm forgetting her name.
Yeah, she's pretty good. She speaks like multiple languages, and she's a pretty good host.
Kate Abdo?
Yes, yeah. And the goal that Luis Diaz scored, right?
Mm.
Do you know that was a left foot cross from, what's his name? Alexander. Trent Alexander. He's right-footed, right?
Yeah, he can use his other one pretty well.
So now I didn't know
outside of the foot cross a lot.
So he's ambidextrous. He's at it. So good luck to whoever's going to face. I'm not sure Real Madrid's going to get through, but we'll talk about that. How'd you feel about the game, Neil?
I actually missed the game. I didn't watch the game, but I saw the highlights, and my first reaction was, we need to sell Kepa to Villarreal. They probably can't. Probably be conned into that one. the way that keeper was, and especially like when the team has already done the hard work of getting themselves back into the tie, and the second one, close range, maybe even though both were through the legs, but the first one especially was, the angle was not favorable to Fabinho at all. And there wasn't even, it was pretty much just straight at him and then went straight through him. And then, Liverpool's quality, like in the second half, just shone through. And, when the matchups were initially made and it was Villarreal versus Liverpool, the whole thing was that, Liverpool are the favorites, but, Villarreal have had a few good moments here and there. Like they got rid of Bayern with a late winner. But the thing with Liverpool is they could afford, like what they had done in the first leg, and just the fact that they have this kind of team, they could afford to absolutely sleepwalk through those first 45 minutes and still come out comfortable 5-2 winners over the tie. So Yeah, a team like Villarreal, they don't have a lot of margin of error, and they really gave it away in that second half. And I think when Liverpool, the form they're in right now, when they start, putting their foot on your neck, there's not a lot of teams that can live with them. And definitely Villarreal cannot live with them. So it'll be interesting. I think City are similar, although they're not as ruthless in front of goal. But I think it'll be interesting to see if City Liverpool actually do make it through to the final. Because the way Liverpool were defending in that first half, like I saw a bunch of clips, I think the caliber of goal scorers that City and Madrid have, they can really take advantage of that. But then again, Liverpool have that potency themselves that they can hurt a lot of teams.
So let's talk about Man City, Real Madrid tomorrow. Real Madrid are the La Liga champs now, right? Mm-hmm. They clinched it, right?
Yes, yeah.
They clinched it.
Beat Espanyol at the weekend. They rested four starters, I think.
Yeah, and they I think Camavinga was playing like right back or some shit. It was crazy, like how it looked out there, and they had Marcelo out there starting, and it was just like there was an Isco sighting somewhere, and there was some dude named Mariella. I was like, who that? And they just had players on the pitch that because they could afford to lose. They could have afforded to lose that game.
They only needed a draw to win the title, and they ended up scoring 4.
Right. Yeah. And if they'd have lost, no big deal. They'll just have to win it in the next 2 weeks. But you want to rest your players. They put Benzema on when I think they were up 3-0 or at least 2-0. So, and I understand the coach, like Ancelotti, like putting Benzema in when you're already up. He made sure everybody got like warmed up in the game, enough for this week, midweek. And I just feel like I'm gonna go for Real Madrid on this one, man. What you think, Neil? I know you don't believe in Real Madrid. I know you don't. You said it from before, but I'm going to go for Real Madrid on this one, bro.
But I do believe in Benzema a lot. So I don't know. Because he's like, he's kind of been carrying them. And if he has another Benzema day, it doesn't really matter what I think about Real Madrid. They can still go through.
What about Vinicius Jr.?
No, Vinicius is great too. Vinicius is great. And but I feel like the caliber of players, the caliber that Vinicius is, I think Man City have such players too. So
you're gonna have to start respecting.
But I don't think anybody in this competition has somebody like Benzema. So
what?
I was trying to say that I think the caliber of player Vinicius is. I think Man City also have those kind of players. I just don't think anybody has somebody like a Benzema. So he's the real difference maker for me. If they can keep him quiet.
You're saying Jesus isn't on the same level as Benzema? Because right now he's playing for his career right now. He's scoring every game.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like Man City have players of the same caliber as Vinicius. So they kind of cancel themselves out. But I think nobody has a Benzema in their team. So
you know what's funny about you mentioning Benzema? Like the same thing that's been fueling Benzema all year is the same thing that started to fuel Gabriel Jesus. Like the fact that Man City or Real Madrid might get Mbappe or Haaland is making both these players. First, there was no threat to Gabriel Jesus for Haaland, until a few weeks ago, and that's when he started stepping up his game. But it's always been a threat for Benzema that Mbappe or Haaland was going to come to Real Madrid. And he's like, I'm 34, but I'm not trying to give this spot up yet. Mm-hmm. So let me just show everybody what time it is right now. So that's the irony. But I'm gonna go Real Madrid just because they're in the Bernabeu.
Yeah,
it's a vibe thing. It's an energy thing, and Man City probably won't get over the line until they get that forward. And that's just how I have it written, and that's how I hope it goes.
And they also have like like even defensively, they've made mistakes, but Courtois always saves them.
Mhm.
So he's going to keep them in the tie for a long time. And then it's just a matter of having a couple of moments, because you'll see like whenever Madrid have, say, a good moment in front of goal, that momentum takes them through for the next 10, 15 minutes, and a whole bunch of moments can come together. So, Man City, I think if they want to qualify, they'll have to start scoring and essentially just keep that momentum going for the whole entire 90 minutes, because you slack off against this Madrid team, they can make you pay. And they don't need a lot of time to make you pay.
Right.
I'm just saying City win.
You are? What? Yeah? Why?
Yeah. I think they just got too much quality from 1 to 11 for Real Madrid to handle. I don't think it'll be comprehensive. I think it'll be tight. I'm going 2-1 Man City on the night, which would be enough to put them through. That's my prediction.
You think Cole Palmer is too much quality for Real Madrid?
He ain't seeing a minute of that game. But no, I just think there's just too many players who can.
Carson is too much quality for Real Madrid. CJ Egan Riley is too much. Luke Mbete is too much quality. Nathan Aki, I don't know, man.
Hey, don't get me naming kids off the Real Madrid squad list now.
Like Marco,
Vallejo or something.
Yeah, I know. I saw that name. I was like, I think he played. He might have played.
He played against Espanyol. Yeah.
Yeah. See.
Have you speaking of Real Madrid though? Have you seen? So Real Madrid's next league game is away to Atletico Madrid.
Oh, snap.
And Atletico Madrid are refusing to do the guard of honor.
Oh man.
They're like, nah, we're not doing it for them guys. It's just typical Simeone.
I'd be more surprised if they did do the guard of honor, to be honest. That's typical Simeone.
Well, for Simeone, I could see him like agreeing to the guard of honor, but then as the Real Madrid players walk out, they'll just like trip them and kick them, and like Savage will be throwing headbutts, and
it'll be an ambush, like when they caught William Wallace from Braveheart. I thought it was supposed to be a meeting about peace. Instead, you're gonna drag me to England and hind and quarter me.
It says here, an official statement from Atletico Madrid said that asking them to do the guard of honor was an attempt at ridicule, and they won't be doing it.
What? Did they ever get a guard of honor when they won it? They won it last year, right?
Yeah, they won it last year.
It says, so I'll read the actual statement. This is what they put this statement out. They said, some people want to turn what began as a gesture of recognition for the champions into a public toll that their rivals must pay, imbued with the scent of humiliation. Atletico Madrid will under no circumstances collaborate in this attempt at ridicule in which the true values of sport are completely forgotten and tension and confrontation between fans are incited. That's their statement. Basically, they're saying like we're not going to be your bitches.
I mean, they did it during the season, so why not?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. If you want to
stop Real Madrid, just win.
Yeah, if you wanted to not be somebody's bitch, beat them. You know what I mean. And then if you wanted to, and then not embarrass yourself in front of the world during Champions League either. But all right, Simeone, whatever.
I think that game is gonna get tasty.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out. It's the dirty derby. It's the dirty Clasico. You know, it's the Bernard Hopkins, style of boxing, style of soccer. So Neil, what's going on with Chelsea, man? We're gonna go to the Premier League. Yeah, I mean,
this would be a quick one. I don't know.
What's going on? You think everything is finally catching up? And
so
they're like the players like hard into it. I know you got some injuries, but it's not that much amount of injuries. And I what's going on? Just tell me.
I think right now it's just a team that doesn't have a lot to play for. that's kind of once we lost to Madrid in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Arsenal game was a bad game. I think it was a United. We played well, we couldn't finish, and that's been the problem for us for almost 2 seasons now.
Thank God.
And yeah, the Everton game was, again, like we start certain games. I only saw the second half because I didn't wake up in time.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God for that, because the first half was apparently terrible. Like we barely created absolutely nothing. Second half, we tried to play with a little more energy, but it's again like too little, too late.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is a team just going through the motions right now. There's so much of turmoil, like the whole centre back situation. We're playing people who we know are leaving the club for sure. And yeah, we don't have anybody. Like the plans are completely.
I mean, that's what you could trust some people. You could trust Sarr. You could trust Chalobah.
I don't think he trusts Sarr to play as a centre back. I think Chalobah he has trusted. I think after the injury, things have his progress has taken a step back.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, like really, I think he's trying to go with the tried and tested thing, but then certain things, the bunch of players that he actually trusts have gone down and down over the season. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do in the off season, or if at all we can even do anything.
I heard Fabrizio Romano say that pretty much Rudiger has agreed a contract.
Yeah, Rudiger's gone. He's gone to Real Madrid. Christensen's gone to Barcelona. Seems very likely that Azpilicueta is going to Barcelona too.
Azpilicueta was playing like he'd already left.
Yeah, I mean that. Like what do you do when mistakes like that? I think we've in the last 2 months we've made I think 11 errors that lead to goals. Like a team under Tuchel, you would actually expect that number to be across 2-3 seasons. We've done that in 2 months.
You guys are acting like you're being coached by Lampard right now, the amount of mistakes you guys are making. It was the same problems Frank was having with the same team, and then Tuchel came in and cut all of that shit out, and now it's back. Like even the best players are making mistakes. Mendy, goddamn Rudiger in the Champions League, Christensen. Yeah, and Azpilicueta, man, that's the main guys.
I think the team has had a long pending revamp needed. Lampard started that process, but if you remember, the reason why things went bad under Lampard was a lot of senior players were not on board with that, with that revamp. That effort. And Tuchel came in, he was like, all right, I'm going to work with what I have. And he kind of his ability kind of papered over a few cracks. He started getting performances out of players who we've never seen perform at that high level. And I think that has lasted for a while, but now it's again like the cracks are beginning to show up again. So I don't know what he can do, because the defense looked sorted, and now with Rudiger Christensen going, it took us a long time to get Rudiger and Christensen at Chelsea to perform to a world-class level, and now suddenly you're giving that away. So yeah, I mean next season I think we're back to the drawing board. We're back where we were 2-3 years back after Sarri left, trying to figure out a team that can get beyond just battling for top 4.
So it sounds like it might be a mistake for Tuchel to stay, because if he stays with this team that needs development, then it could kind of damage his reputation.
I don't think the way I'm thinking is I don't think he'll stay beyond next season. He will stay next season, but then again, the next season will be another season where we are not challenging for the title. We are not, we are pretty much making up the numbers with top 4. So. And then his contract is going to come up for renewal, and he's definitely going to get offers from, some of the top clubs who are already there, who don't need a big rebuilding project. So he's probably just going to take one of those.
Where does his contract go to? A year?
End of next season. I think it's
2024.
2024 or is it 2023?
Oh, it might be 23. Yeah.
23. Yeah. So
And that
next
was
summer it's going to be.
Was that the original contract he signed, or was that an extension?
No, the original contract was an 18 months contract, and then I think he signed a year extra.
All right.
So
yeah, you guys are doomed, man. Can you remember the thing you just put in the chat earlier? Like Martin was trying to tease you about finishing 5th, but you said it could be worse because if you don't get sold, can you really go into administration and end up in the championship and then but be in the Champions League at the same time?
Yeah, I don't know about that because that has never happened. So I mean, a lot of things here hasn't really happened. So we're just guessing. But
if a club goes into administration this late in the season, it normally results in a points deduction next season.
Right.
That's normally what happens because it can't really affect that much of this season stuff. I mean, it could move them down some rankings, but normally they like to move those things. If it comes that late in the season, they'll move it all the way to next season and start them with like minus 12 points or something crazy.
No, shit.
But so I think...
which still wouldn't put them in any danger of relegation.
I mean, with their defense?
I am not sure because from what I read, our special license to operate expires on the May 31st. If Chelsea don't have a new owner by then the latest deadline is another week from then, I think June 6th or 7th, which is when the Premier League sits down with all the clubs to decide essentially formalize the arrangements for next season. And usually that's just a formality of, acknowledging the fact 3 clubs that are relegated, 3 clubs that are getting promoted. But in a situation like Chelsea, where if we don't have a new owner and we go into administration, the Premier League can't have a club that's in administration. So they're the automatic penalty is being thrown one step down. So
I think one of the interesting things is like the British government. I don't know what would be best for them in terms of political capital, because it might be sort of damaging for them to be letting them, or it be seen them having, letting a historic club fall into, not having a license and being taken out of the division. But on the other hand, that might also look like them being strong on Russian influence.
Right.
By saying like, we will not let this guy have any money, therefore the sale can't happen, therefore the club are liable to whatever happens to them now. And obviously the only people that would care about that are really Chelsea fans. It would make a lot of other people probably quite happy.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think people, even politically, like from a vote bank perspective, it creates it. And this is not like Leeds being in a one club city where it could cause a huge dent in terms of the politics. So.
So I don't really know what way it's going to go.
So let me answer this question. That thing about Abramovich said he didn't need the loan paid back, but now he's saying he wants it paid back.
Mm-hmm.
So who's that money have to be paid back to?
Him or his holding company, 1.6 billion.
Company.
So then if somebody buys a club, then they got to add another 1.6 billion and give it to this holding company that the government won't even let get any money. Like, how does that work?
So in a normal world, like if this was just a normal world where the sale of Chelsea was happening by Abramovich and there's no conflict of sanctions or anything, what would have happened is the club would have sold for 2.6 billion or 3.6 billion, whatever the number is being bandied around right now. And then, he would just take all of that money. And if he has lost 1.6 billion in loans, that just gets taken off at his end. What's happening right now is that the UK government has said, and by the way, like the UK government keeps saying it's going to go through to a charitable organization. There's still not been any details of any of this. Like this is such a high number. Like
the UK government is a charitable organization.
Yeah, but like this, like we're not talking about a $500 donation. We're talking about literally billions of dollars here. And there's still not been, like, the sale's supposed to happen anytime in the next few weeks. There's still not been any clarity about where that money is going to go. And journalists have been trying to figure that out since the beginning, but nobody's had anything to say about that. So I think from Abramovich's point of view, the question is, where does that money go? Does it get parked? Because his assets have not been seized. They have only been frozen. So is all of this money going to get parked in like a frozen account? In which case, I think he'll be fine with it. But if he's just going to be taken away, I think that's where he's like, well, I didn't make the offer to forgive the loans, but that was before you guys sanctioned me.
But what should it matter what he thinks? Or like, listen, you already forcibly, hey, we're taking this from you. So what right does he have in anything? Yeah,
because it's still his club. Right. Because it's still his property to sell.
How is it?
Yeah,
because he put it up for sale.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I think there's the legality of it as well, because it's assets frozen rather than seized.
Exactly.
I think it would depend on the legality of it and what the government legally can and can't do, or whether he could contest it legally, and it could get very complicated.
Because 2 months down the line, the sanctions go away because, these things are so fickle with world politics, and things change. Because his money was welcome in that country for so long, and suddenly it's not. That might again change. So I think the terminology of like something being frozen is very different from something being seized. So,
all right. And
but yeah, it's literally like it's cutting it so close that we think we have and then this whole Jim Ratcliffe guy comes out of nowhere.
And what do you think about Jim Ratcliffe, your new owner?
Well, I feel like he's being like, because I've read his state. This is not the first time Jim Ratcliffe has been associated with Chelsea. He tried to buy Chelsea a couple of years ago, and then Abramovich obviously declined it. But he came out in the press at that time and said that buying a Premier League club has become so unsustainable now. It's so much money that it's just not affordable. So I'm gonna go buy. He went and bought Nice in France, and he is the owner of that club right now. And obviously he bought that for far, far less. And even when the whole sanctions thing and Chelsea being up for sale happened a couple of months back, Ratcliffe was instantaneously one of the first people linked to it. And his camp came out with a statement saying that, no, he's got no interest in all of this. And he's happy owning and running Nice. He's got no interest in the Premier League right now. I think it's just FOMO or something. Like when you see the train finally leaving the station, you're like, oh, you know what? Like probably a chance like this won't come up again, because you don't really see top clubs being put up for 100% sale often. So now he wants it. He's not gone through the entire process at all. But now he's trying to put pressure. He's trying to meet supporter groups. He's putting a whole bunch of cash. He's making this into a whole British bid thing.
And he slide in the DMs after, you know what I mean? Like after the fact, like there was and they're letting them. They might not feel that secure with the 2 bids that they're saying are the leading bids.
Now there is only one.
Now there's only one.
Bid has gotten it. Like they have entered exclusive talks right now. The other 2 have gone away. So
is this just a press thing, or is he officially being considered?
The Rant group have not said anything officially, but all the credible journalists have already said that, the other 2. So let's put it this way. The other 2 consortiums have received word from Rant group that you're no more in the running.
So what's the consortium that's that's going to pull the sword out the stone? That looks like they're going to pull the sword out the stone?
Yeah, that's the Dodgers guy.
That's the Dodgers guy. So, and then this other guy that we just talked about, what's his name again?
Sir Jim Ratcliffe.
So this is just all talk, and the media is like
No, he's apparently serious, because he came out with a full official statement.
How can he show up rapper time, you know what I mean, and just be like, just as considered as everybody else? Like, yo, what's up? You selling that? Yeah, they're selling it, but I'm in the middle of buying it. Well, I want to buy it, but I'm buying it. And there was a timeline, and I applied on the timeline, and I proved myself. And they're like, hold on. We know we said we're going to sell it to you, but what are you saying now? You want to buy it? And how is that even?
I think it's because he's offering way over the asking price as well. Apparently, he's offering like 4.2 billion or something.
What if he offers that 1.5 billion?
Still dirty. I mean, it's dirty, but and how much how much billion is he worth?
He's worth.
He's Britain's richest man.
Yeah. How did he make his money?
Petrochemicals, I hear.
Mm-hmm.
He's also 1/3 shareholder and the one of the main sponsors of the Mercedes F1 team.
I'm sorry, say that again.
The Mercedes F1 team, the Formula One team.
Oh yeah, you said that like I would know, like I watch it. Like Neil be watching all these European sports. Like it's not just soccer. It's like the Formula this highlight, like cricket. It's like, and then he just says it like, no, you're the only person that watches all of these things.
No, I'm into F1 as well.
Yeah, you're into F1.
Yeah.
What else are you both into? Like sometimes I see Neil like posting shit, and I'm like, he's into that. Badminton, damn. I played with my sisters. That's it.
Even though I'm British, I can't get behind cricket. I can't do it.
Yeah. Me neither, bro.
It's too slow, too boring.
I'm Jamaican British, and I can't get behind
exactly. You have more than one reason to.
Yeah, and I'm not behind it. So yeah. So Neil be like following everything. Right now, Nice is like 5th in the French league. They got 60 points. Monaco's ahead of them at 4th with 62. And they're all on the same amount of games, 35. So, I mean, I don't know how long he's owned Nice, but it's not bad. I mean, PSG is 19 points ahead of him, but
he's not putting all his fortune into Nice.
He's got a lot of money, right? Has Nice won anything since he's been there? He could have made Nice.
They did win some stuff. I don't know when he joined them, though.
Will he have to sell Nice to own Chelsea? Or is that a conflict of interest? What if they end up...
I mean, of course he has to sell. But that's the thing, like he's half-assing this so much and cutting it so late.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's no time to do any of this. And May 31st, that special license runs out. So...
Hey, I want to buy it. But I'm already buying it. Yeah, but I'm going to offer more money. Don't you own Nice? Yeah, I'll get rid of that as soon as I get this. How are you might end up owning both teams at the same time. This is not. So are you satisfied with the Dodgers owning it, or you just like, fuck it, it just is what it is?
I think he seemed the most sensible out of the all the names that we heard.
All right. Sounds like you're settling, but you don't have a choice.
I think the way I've been thinking is if he runs because I've been reading a lot about the Dodgers. Mm-hmm. I think if he runs Chelsea the way the Dodgers are run, we'll be fine. But
Dodgers have been doing all right since they've been bought.
Yeah, but you never know. Like for example, the Cronkies, they seem to be doing well with the Rams, but then Arsenal is a different kettle of fish.
Arsenal's coming around. They're gonna get. How long have the Cronkies owned Arsenal?
For a while, I think more than a decade.
Since the Wengers. I feel like
that.
Yeah, I kind of compare the Cronkies to the Manchester United has been having a lot of protests, and then I've just been thinking about it, like. So there's fans who want the Glazers out, right? And they never wanted the Glazers to buy the United. But when the Glazers had them, we had Fergie, and we still won under the Glazers, even though some people didn't want them there. I don't know how many. Some are saying, I always never wanted them. But, it's easy to say that. There's no proof, But
Before social media.
But now we're going through hard times, and there's been bad decisions made, because bad decisions are a part of football. They can get made. Everybody wants the Glazers out, but I can't be as hard as on the Glazers as they haven't been paying attention to detail. And when you have businesses all over the place, it's tough to focus. But you're going to get some things wrong. And I think like the Glazers have hired people who have won before, but they've also made mistakes of hiring people who made them think that they could do the job that needed to be done. And that could happen when you look at the Cronkies and Arsenal after Wenger left. Like, the Cronkies had to get rid of Wenger. Like, they had to say, all right, we're going to get rid of this guy.
They probably held on to Wenger a little longer than they should have.
Right. So it's like, but the fans like turned complete. Like, the money that the Glazers have spent, they have this financial thing where they bought the team with debt and they take money out instead of pay down the debt, but they still put money. And
they put a lot. They put a lot. Almost like if then United net spend last 10 years is 3 times what that of Chelsea and Liverpool, even higher than City.
Yeah, I like how you like say 3 years, but you don't go back enough.
No, I said 10 years. I said 10 years.
More than the how much did but that still limits it, because in the beginning of let's count your boy's entire reign.
No, I said 10 years because like the whole criticism of the Glazers has been since Ferguson.
Yeah, you're right.
Declined, right? Like much in terms of results. But all this while, the Glazers have still been putting in a lot of money towards transfers.
Yeah, they just haven't. They needed to learn to be like when Fergie left and the other guy left. I forgot his name, but they kind of held the club together, and they were gladly doing it because that was their job from before. And I think the Glazers didn't realize how intricate it is and layered it is to run the club. Also, the relationship with the fans. And this 10 years has been a learning lesson for them. But I feel like they do want to do better. And it is good that the fans do protest, because then they get heard more and things get done. I think Ten Hag is a step in the right direction. And now it's not about just buying names. Every time we bought a name, those fans were happy. It's just when the names didn't work out, they weren't happy. So it's like there's some bad things about the Glazers.
Yeah.
There's some bad things about the Glazers, but there's some... Listen, I'm not going to be like... There's no guarantee that another set of owners would put as much money into the club as the Glazers. And I don't think the fans, once they anti-Glazer, anti-Ed Woodward, who's gone now, they just never turn back from that. You know what I mean? So it's like, listen, all the Glazers need to do is spend the same amount of money, but get it right. And then how would the fans feel when we win some shit? Will they still be like Glazers out? Because other owners might not put that much money in. And I know you were worried about overall the club going into like some financial debt, like similar to Derby and all that stuff, because of the way, I guess that's the ultimate fear, and it'll always be hanging in the background. But I'm not going to go 100% in on the Glazers like a lot of Manchester United fans. I think one of you was going to say something.
A lot of what the Glazers do, though, is leverage more debt against the club and pay themselves quite handsome dividends.
Right.
I think that's the issue, that it's not them sort of spending their money or money that the club's generated, it's them leveraging more debt against the club. So it's fine at the moment because the turnover's obviously decent with the amount of corporate sponsorship there is involved and stuff like that. But I think it just doesn't sit right with a lot of people.
Yeah, they're leveraging debt responsibly. It's not the most ideal way. And you worry that if they get irresponsible, then that could just fuck the club overall. Is that what the fear is?
I think that's part of it, yeah. And I think it's just part of it that some people feel like it's unnecessary, and that they shouldn't be taking as much money out of the club as they are as well. Given
why
that
do you think
there's all the leverage debt.
But why do they think they bought it? I mean, it's just, I don't know. I get it. I'm with the fans. I get it, but what you going to do? At least
there's been a long history of people just losing money by owning football clubs, though. People aren't used to people wanting, a return on that investment. Because quite often, like people say, like the best way to lose, a fortune is to buy a football club.
Right. But not the Premier League so far. But I am worried that the Premier League will, like how the Serie A has hit. It's like bump in the road, and they're not as successful as they used to be. I am worried that could happen to the Premier League, because like the Premier League is like hot right now, but it's just like the housing market in 2008. At some point, shit might cool off. And then
bubble. And that bubble might burst.
Yeah, the bubble, yeah. Were you going to say something, Neil, before? Sorry, I kept on going.
I was going to say, like, about the whole thing about the downturn in United's on-field fortunes under Glazers have kind of coincided with great off-field success. Like commercially, the club is doing great. So on-field, it becomes, as you said, like a lot of these signings, when they have it, the fans are really happy with it. Like Pogba, over the years, Pogba, even that someone they got Pogba, Lukaku together. And then recently, the summer they got Harry Maguire, Harry Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, Bruno Fernandes.
How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? I'm not even going to say why I said how dare you. You know why the fuck I said how dare you.
No, that time it was all like, hey, we pulled one over Man City.
How dare you, bro? Mention Harry Maguire like that in the same breath.
And then, the last summer, Jadon Sancho, Ronaldo, Varane. So I think it's, as you said, like it's not just about money, it's about spending money correctly. And I think it's fair to criticize the Glazers in that sense, because as fans, our choices don't need to be as polished as the choices of somebody who's running that club. Like they are supposed to make sure that they pick the right football people and put them in charge and give them the money needed to build a strong winning team. That's what Man City have done. Like they started planning for Pep's arrival from even before Pep.
Right.
They hired this guy who was with him at Barcelona, right. And I think the Rita Sané and the Kevin De Bruyne signings happened pretty much like
before he got there,
before the scene, behind the scenes, and they were there before he even got there. Liverpool have done brilliantly with Michael Edwards famously, like they got more Salah, and Klopp was not on board with it. Like he didn't know much about him, and their recruitment were like, no, we've seen it. Like we've seen the stats, you've done the analysis, and we think he'll be great for your style of football. Comes in, gets the Golden Boot for a season. So they've had a great track record with recruitment over the years. So it is, at the end of the day, the job of the owners to put the right money in the right place, hire the right people who can make good use of that money. So if United is not doing that, I think the buck does stop with the Glazers, and it's fair to criticize them. So it's not just about the money that's like Chelsea. We used to spend our money really well for a period until when when Mourinho came back the second time, he kind of clipped Michael Emenalo's wings, and then since then it's just been so random our recruitment. It's been a lot of money wasted.
Still won though.
I know, but there's not been sustained success. It's been random success due to
it's not random success. You win a trophy every year. Yeah, how many? It's 20 years. How many trophies?
21.
What's random about that?
No, I mean, we till 2012, I think we went a period where we used to either compete for the league or the Champions League almost every year, like reach last four or be in the, in that top bracket of the Premier League. Since 2017, we haven't competed for the league. It's been 5 years now. That's the longest we've gone under Abramovich, not even competing. Forget winning. You haven't even come close to competing for the league.
But when you make a statement like that, it's like ignoring the fact that you won Champions League last year.
No, but even Champions League winning, I'll tell you with Champions League, we won the Champions League last season. It was kind of in isolation because before that, for 6.5 years, we didn't win a single knockout Champions League game. That's just not something that is that you'd expect from a team that's with what we have done before that.
I know, but when you make statements like that, you're also taking out of consideration that other teams, good teams, are out there, and that everybody's in this fight to win these few cups, and then just sometimes.
No, that is fine. My problem is not that when you don't win. My problem is when you don't even compete. As I said, 5 years not competing for the Premier League, 6 years not competing for the Champions League. That's a big stretch. And winning, losing, anything could have happened. Like the Champions League final, which we won, we could have lost maybe. It was a 1-0 win. But you need to at least be up there. You were just in 2 FA Cup finals. Was it 2 FA Cup finals? Well, just, and Wigan won the FA Cup. That doesn't, you're just in a League Cup final. Yeah, but I think clubs like Chelsea, the standard should be to compete for the Premier League. And that's, people say that we spend a lot of money. I think we spend a lot of foolish money over the years, and not in the early part of Abramovich, but in the later part. Right. We have. So, well, he was busy trying to help Putin plan this war, so he couldn't focus on it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a lot of logistics and moving parts when you're trying to surround a country that you're not supposed to be surrounded. I'm firmly of the belief if Todd Bowley spends a fraction of the money that Abramovich should, but he spends it correctly, we might actually end up being a net beneficiary in this whole thing. Say that again. Who? Todd Burnley? What? Todd Bowley. I think I have to get used to pronouncing his name right. But if he spends like half or a fourth of the money that Abramovich was spending recently, but he spends it, has the right people, spends it correctly, we might actually be a net benefiting out of this entire transaction. Who might be benefiting? Chelsea. United? Chelsea. Okay. All right, we'll see. It's like it's different to want to buy a club and to actually run the club. Yeah. So we'll see. It's a whole thing. Ten Hag is a manager in another league. He's won the league twice, and everybody's questioning whether he can just manage another club in another league. These people never owned. They own a club in a different sport. Yeah. Different, and then they got to come. Yeah. So good luck. Yeah. I just want to say how the Everton-Chelsea game, which started all this conversation, was I watched it, and the crowd, let me see how many home games Everton got left. How many? Because those are the games they can win. I can't even look it up. Can anybody look it up? Let me see. I think they have one more. I want to say Leicester. Well, that's the only game.
No. They're away to Leicester, away to Watford, home to Brentford, home to Palace, away to Arsenal. So they can only win 2 games because they don't play. They play like shit on the road. Yeah, they actually beat Chelsea, a team, the third best team in the league. That crowd did everything they could. They went to the Chelsea hotel, made noise all night, and then. I think they snuck extra people in the stadium, and they was cheering and roaring Richarlison on, and he put the pressure on your boy Spilicueta and got the goal. And they played with just energy and enthusiasm. But that's Everton. That's what they do. But they just never done it. They've never been this inconsistent at the bottom of the table before. And before, I thought they weren't going to get relegated, because I was like, they're not going to get relegated because the teams below them are worse than them. But all of a sudden, the teams below them, like Burnley, got better than them. And now they are in the relegation zone. And I feel better that they're in the relegation zone than Newcastle. I'm having more fun with them in the relegation zone. I want Everton to get relegated, And do you think now that they're going to escape?
either?
I think they still could. I mean, I don't think they were that great though against Chelsea. I think, there was a lot of energy around the stadium and the players turned up, but also like they got opened up a lot. Jordan Pickford had to have the game of his life.
Well, his face had the game of his life.
Well, there was a couple of saves that were just like out of this world. The one where he got back across the goal, to save the rebound, was pretty crazy. So on another day, they don't win that game, or they draw it, or they lose it, and it's whether or not they can sustain that as well, because that's asking a lot for the players to do that and put that level of effort in for 5 more games.
That's why
they might be able to do it for. Yeah.
That's why I think they're going down. And let me ask you, if Everton gets relegated, should we have Jordan Pickford as England's goalkeeper when we got a Ramsdale? This is how much of Everton going down is Jordan Pickford's responsibility?
I don't know, but Pickford plays better for England than he does for Everton most of the time.
I bet you Ramsdale will play better for England than Pickford does for anything.
I do prefer Ramsdale, but like I say, I haven't seen anything Pickford's done for England that warrants him being dropped. Whereas, his Everton form is.
Do you want a relegated? Even though Ramsdale is relegated, he's stepped up to a good team. He's been relegated twice, but
Pickford will leave. He won't play in the Championship next season if they go down.
He won't. He'll leave, but we saw him go down. And he's just going to stroll up to Carrington and get his starting spot with a team of elite English players.
I feel Nick Pope should be there. I felt it for a while. Nick Pope. I think he's the best shot stopper.
Did you see the save that Ramsdale made this weekend? Again, he's been making top drawer saves. It was like a cross. I forgot what West Ham player had got to the ball. And it was like one of those glancers that normally goes in the net. And he saved that shit.
I mean, I've seen a lot of Ramsdale save, but I feel like a lot of them, they look dramatic, but they're still kind of straight at him.
Wow. Okay. All right. Neil with his Nick Pope agenda. All right. For some
this
reason,
relegation. This battle is looking interesting though, because Leeds aren't out the woods either. I'm just Leeds' next 2 games are Arsenal and Chelsea, and then after that they got Brighton, which again not an easy game. They need to hope that they got nothing to play for, which they don't, and then they finish away to Brentford, which if Brentford turn up, they're hit and miss, but at home it's not an easy game when Brentford are home. So yeah, I mean, even we're not out of the woods yet. We got the 40 points, but we can be caught by all those clubs still.
You think you can be caught by? For real?
Yeah.
Shit. You mean a 40-point team could get relegated? Has that happened before?
I think it's only happened once or something, or twice, but because Burnley and Leeds, they're both a game behind Southampton and they're on 34, so they can come up to 37. So if we lose another game and they win another game, all of a sudden we're level. If Everton win their 2 games in hand on us, they go up to 38, so they'll be 2 points behind us with 3 games left. So it's possible. I don't think all of those clubs will win enough games. It'll be one of those 3. It'll be Burnley, Leeds, or Everton who join Watford and Norwich. But I mean, if all of them won all of their games, we could still conceivably get pulled into it. But I don't think we will.
This tells me, so you've been secretly worried a little bit.
Only in the last couple of weeks when we've been throwing games away that we should have got something from. We should have at least got a draw against Palace at the weekend. We should have at least got a draw there. Who was it we played where we were really terrible? Where we could have got Burnley away was terrible. You could tell they had obviously something to play for in that game. We just didn't show up. Obviously the Chelsea game was abysmal. And then it sandwiched in between all of that. We had the Arsenal game where we pulled the 3 points out. And obviously a draw against Brighton was an okay result. But yeah, we've just been losing way too many games recently. I still don't think it will happen. Like I say, it requires top of the league form from all three of those clubs to relegate us. And I think one of those clubs might pull that sort of form out, but it'll mean that they keep one of the others down, not us.
All right. Who would you like to see go down the most, Neil, between all those names? Don't say Southampton.
No, I think it'd be Burnley.
Yeah. I kind of want Burnley to survive now. Why Burnley?
Because I think they suck the joy out of life a little too much. Although I respect that, but if you're gonna suck the joy out of life, you might as well do it with Sean Dyche. Now Sean Dyche is gone, so
but they play different.
Why would I want a lifeless Burnley without Sean Dyche in the Premier League?
I mean, they play different now. They attack now. They try to get points.
Is that because Ben Mee's is this attacking genius? Tactical attacking genius has been teaching these guys all sorts of attacking triangles.
I mean, you can't argue with the form since him and Jackson took over.
Yeah, what's the form? Let me see.
It's incredible. It's 3 wins and a draw out of 4 games.
Man. I haven't lost, bro.
I mean, but they started badly against Watford at the weekend. Like they should have been down by more, and then they somehow managed to turn it around. But I did hear as well from some people who know some. I've heard from some people who know some people that. I mean, I think we touched on it in a previous episode that the players had sort of stopped believing in Dyche's methods.
Right.
But some people I've spoken to who know some people, they told me that the players were just worked into the ground. There was no days off under Dyche. And apparently that they've been having 2 days off a week under the new guys.
Oh yeah.
Which, given the run of fixtures that is so congested, like they need that to rest. And apparently they've responded well to that. Like they got some renewed enthusiasm. Like they're getting to recover properly. Whereas Dyche was just running them into the ground.
Right.
Thinking that it would turn things around, but it just made things worse because the players were just like shattered mentally, physically.
That's a pretty radical thing to do, especially when you're like at the bottom to prescribe days off as opposed to we're going to add another day, but there's only 7 in the week. I don't give a fuck. We're going to find 8 days.
But if they were being worked into the ground and losing every week, then it's worth trying something, isn't it? To happy players play better. So
yeah, people don't really think about that, but yeah. Did you guys see the Man U game yesterday versus Brentford?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of shit going on. Like, the fans were going to walk out on the 73rd minute and protest. But then by the time we got to the 70th minute, Man United scored 3 goals. So it's like, there's like one guy with a green and yellow flare going, come on, let's go. And the fans are like, fuck that, so we're winning a game. You can go outside and protest if you want with that smoke. And then like 5 people followed him. The rest of them stayed. And then I don't know if this was strategy or not. Like, it is a kind of strategy. They know it's Matic's last home game. And he started the game. So they subbed him out in the 70th to a round of applause. Like, and he played really good too. And then Roy Keane had went in on Mata. Like, why is he still here? That type of shit. And Mata played really good too. And he got subbed out to like a round of applause. But then the person who's leaving, who's an academy player, Jesse Lingard, I don't even know if he was on the bench yesterday. I got to check. But he did not get in.
I think he was on the bench.
But no type of like love whatsoever. So I guess the question is, what do you guys... And then his brother tweeted how disrespectful the club has been and tweeted some like accolades of Jesse. And they said, we're family, we love you. Let's move on. So what do you guys think of the Jesse Lingard situation? Well, that's how much you think of it. All right. Cool.
No, I think it's weird and a little bit disrespectful that you wouldn't give him the chance to say goodbye. Like, he's been at the club since he was 9 years old.
Right.
To put other people on, I mean, like, obviously Cavani's played well since he's been there, but Matt's done well since he's been there, but it's not the same level of commitment that Lingard has shown the club.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, to give him some minutes in that game when the game was won as well wouldn't have hurt them, and I think it would have been a nice thing for him to say goodbye, end that chapter and move on. At least it would have not made things so bitter. Like, it's sad for someone to have to leave a club that they've been at for that long like that. I still think he should have left last summer when the stock was high. Just had a great end to the second half of the season with West Ham, and the guy was riding high. You could have got some good money for him, I think, at that point as well. Now he's leaving for free with having to try and rebuild his career once again. So nobody's won out of him staying at United. But I think he shouldn't have been denied that send off, which is a little bit of a shame.
You got any Jesse Lingard thoughts, Neil?
I think that this ties into what we were speaking earlier, right? Like, about who's making these calls at Manchester United in terms of squad building. He should have gone last summer, but there needs to be somebody, a director of football, or somebody who who's making these calls and making it easier for. Clearly, if the manager doesn't rate Jesse Lingard, and Jesse Lingard isn't going to get a lot of game time, you cash in on him a year before his contract runs out, instead of leaving it, letting him leave on a free, and then everybody's happy. So stuff like that, again, is just another symptom of the kind of decision making that's happening at Manchester United. So at the end of the day, I understand where his brother is coming from. I think when you've been at the club for so long, it's easy to feel hurt, and I guess that's fine. This, it's Rangnick there. It's going to be Ten Hag next season, so obviously they don't feel the need to hold back any grudges at this point. So,
I mean, my thoughts is this: you know how timing is everything in relationships. The same thing with football. I feel like Jesse Lingard was there. He was Bruno Fernandes playing in that position. Then, for some reason, where there's family-related issues, he couldn't perform, and that forced us to get Bruno. And then once Bruno came in, he came in on fire. Then Bruno came in on fire. You're not going to take Bruno out to put Jesse in, because you sat there for like a year and a half trying to play Jesse back into form, and it didn't happen. So then now he's on the bench. And he's getting fatigued as far as and frustrated. And then the loan comes, right? So he goes to West Ham, does good, but he does so good and gets back in the England squad to a certain extent. He's like, and they're like, West Ham wants him, but West Ham could challenge us for fourth. So, and I don't know who else wanted him, but I also heard that he didn't want to go. He felt that he could fight for a spot in the team based on his West Ham form, right? And maybe he was lied to a little bit that he'd get more playing time, but you're not being lied to. You're just it's weird. Like, if you bide your time, you will get playing time. It just happens. But I feel like when you're there waiting to get on, the time is longer. And I feel like, so Jesse's there, he's not getting the playing time that he was promised. Solskjaer's fired, new people come in. And I think Jesse, before Solskjaer probably left, was doing shit behind the scenes to piss people off because he was frustrated. Then he tried to leave in the wintertime, and Man United was willing to sell him. Then the shit happened with Greenwood, and Newcastle wanted him. But then Man United tried to make this extra money by saying, hey, if you survive the Premiership and stay in the Premiership, there's an extra fee for Jesse. Newcastle said no. So then now he's extra pissed because he's stuck. And then, again, if you just wait your time, somebody's going to get injured and you're going to need some playing time. And he could have got some playing time. There's a reason Jesse Lingard's not playing. He's done some stuff behind the scenes to make people say, we're not really fucking with you. And that kind of showed up yesterday when they gave Matic and Mata like the goodbye, the chance to say goodbye to the fans at home, and they didn't give Lingard. Because we all know that there's trouble in the dressing room, and we all know there's been leaks, and I have a feeling Jesse has been one of those leaks. Like he got in, I know he said some stuff to Scholes, and Scholes said some stuff on the show, but he's probably been leaking shit before he leaked it to Scholes. Scholes is the only person who officially put a name to it.
Was dumb enough to go and actually say it out.
Yeah. So Scholes snitched. So I think that's why. But Jesse's going to have to he's 28, 29. He's just going to have to like start a new life somewhere else and just improve himself. He still has...
I mean, it's great for Jesse. Like going for a free transfer is always more beneficial for the player.
Yeah, so he'll get some money.
Yeah,
he'll get some money. And I wish him the best. It's just he was screwed over and he kind of screwed himself over too. And it's just the way it works, you know?
Yeah.
So I ain't mad at him. Fuck it.
It'd be interesting to see where he goes, though, whether or not Newcastle come back for him. Obviously, they were interested before, whether or not West Ham maybe look at him again. Because their squad's still not very deep.
Right. And if they sell or lose Declan Rice, he could still go to any one of those two teams. I think Newcastle might try to do better or younger.
Yeah, I think Newcastle can do better.
Yeah, it depends if they want to just build their squad, though, and, you know, get more bodies in that are experienced at that level. But, I mean, they've got the money to go and do silly things, haven't they? So
Yeah. I feel like it's like, why get a Jesse Lingard where you could get somebody who's going to be more of a now and future player, you know? But maybe who knows?
I guess it depends with financial fair play, though, because if they say they want to go and buy a world-class goalkeeper, a world-class number 9, all of a sudden, like, you can't be going and buying all these players for big amounts. Like, you need a couple of free transfers in there just to balance the books in terms of financial fair play as well. So he might benefit from that on that side.
Yeah, he is a free transfer. That is true. I keep forgetting that.
He could go to Bournemouth. They just qualified.
Bournemouth is up. They back.
Yep.
They are.
Fulham are back.
It's going to be funny to see Eddie Howe try to shove him back down next year.
Fulham are back with Alexander Mitrovic, who scored 43 goals for Fulham this season.
That's crazy.
And then
what is going on here?
He is the ultimate Fulham player, though, in that he's too good for the Championship, not good enough for the Premier League. And he'll just forever do that. Like, they'll come up, they'll put all of the pressure on him to keep them up. He won't. They'll get relegated. He'll score stupid amount of goals in the Championship again. They'll come back up.
That's so hilarious the way that works. The yo-yo teams. Like, I imagine like some teams in the Championship, they're like, man, we just want to be a yo-yo team. You know what I mean? We just want to get to the Premier League and then get sent back down and then come back up. Like, some teams have that.
Norwich has pretty much been doing the same thing too.
Yeah, that's why they didn't fire Daniel Farke the first time he took them down.
Yeah,
they were just like, no, we'll stick with him.
He might be
budgeted coach for this.
Yeah, he might be their coach when they get back down, if he's available. He might be able to bring him back up.
I think Dean Smith will stick it out there, but
yeah,
it was interesting seeing him get relegated at Villa the weekend.
I know, by the team that he brought up and fired him.
Yeah.
I know I called Lloyd and said, you are so disrespectful to relegate the guy who brought you up from the Championship. He's like, well, it's business. You got to do what you got to do. So
yep.
I think that's going to be interesting with Nottingham Forest, Huddersfield, Sheffield, and looks like Luton in in the playoffs places.
I think Luton might struggle. Luton lost 7-0 to Fulham.
Yeah.
Which suggests that their form isn't going great right now. But I mean, I would love to see Luton in the Premier League because their ground their ground would be the worst one to ever appear in the Premier League. Honestly, like one side of the field has these corporate hospitality boxes, but they're like sliding patio doors, like sliding glass doors. It's crazy. It's not a Premier League stadium at all. It's not even a Championship stadium.
You just made me start rooting for them.
Yeah, I would love. I'd love to see it in the Premier League, and also they've never been there, so
I'm on Luton now. You also were wrong. You said Luton lost 7-0 to Newcastle. They lost 7-0 to Fulham. They lost 7-0 to Mitrovic.
Okay. But yeah.
Any other topics y'all want to talk about? I forgot to put the questions out because I got the days mixed up.
Oh, that's all right.
That's Luton Stadium.
It looks normal when you look at it like that on your phone, but
it looks like a non-league stadium.
Oh yeah,
on my phone.
I would like to see that.
It'd be interesting. I would really love to see it in the Premier League.
They have a capacity of 10,000, which I think is similar to the capacity Bournemouth Stadium had when they came to the Premier League.
Yeah, it's way older and more falling apart than Bournemouth Stadium, though.
Hilarious. Trying to see what else. Who does Man City and Liverpool? They both handle their business this weekend. Who they got coming up this? Let's see who they're playing this weekend. Let's see. Man City has to play Newcastle on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right about that?
Yeah, and Liverpool got Spurs.
Whew.
On Saturday night.
Whew. Which game is the most dangerous game?
I think Liverpool Spurs is more dangerous. I think City will handle their business against Newcastle. I know Newcastle are in good form, but City will take them down, make them look ordinary. But I think Spurs will want to play on the counter, which makes them more dangerous against Liverpool, I think. Because when those two fullbacks go forward for Liverpool, Trent and Robertson, or they might have to rest them, depending on, they played tonight, but I think there'll be spacing behind those fullback areas, and Kulusevski and Son will be running those channels. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. I still think both Liverpool and City will win this weekend. And I also hope that because it means Spurs lose. So, but I think Spurs is the more dangerous game.
I still think. I know Spurs did good this weekend. Who did they pummel? They pummeled. Who was that? 3-0.
Leicester 3-1.
Leicester 3-1. But Leicester, they didn't have a lot of people. They got injuries. Leicester just got injuries, but you can't dismiss Spurs and Conte. But the teams that played Spurs the last 2 weeks before last week knew exactly every move that Spurs was going to make and cut out their counter and countered their counter. So I feel like Liverpool just has to focus on those things and shut that down. Like, even when you guys played them, you gave them nothing. Like, was that Southampton? Like just kept them in their box and no counters. And I think it was Brighton Hove the other day, just kind of like, nah, we know what you're going to do. That's not happening. Nah.
Yeah, Brighton and Brentford both didn't allow them a single shot on target.
Right. So
until obviously this weekend they turned that around against Leicester, but yeah. But they like these games as well. I mean, look at what they did at Man City away. Like, they just soaked up that pressure and hit him on the counter. So I think it's the sort of game that's built for them under Conte.
Okay. All right. I wanted to hear more negative news than that about Spurs, but...
I mean, I hope they lose. I hope they get absolutely pummeled. I hope they lose 7-0. That would be amazing. But I think they will be the more tricky game of the two for those two clubs.
Right. Yeah, I think they're almost even amount of tricky games. If you look at like points over the last, since they both got their coaches, or let's say go from January, that it's almost an even amount of difficulty. But we'll see. Who do you think is more difficult, Neil?
Yeah, I think the Liverpool game is more difficult. They have more players that, like Kane, Son, though that front three, they can hurt Liverpool. And you've seen Liverpool, the number of times they look shaky at the back from balls off the top. That is literally Conte's game, like fast, direct football. But again, Liverpool has shown that they're so potent with their game that they can pretty much control a game the way they want. And like the comeback they made today, they've made similar comebacks against Man City after the first half. I remember the first leg of the season. Didn't do much in the first half, but second half they come back, and when they are at it, it's very tough to control them, stop them. And that Spurs backline isn't good enough. So, it'll be all a game of Liverpool attack, and then Spurs somehow soaking up the pressure and trying to hit them on the counter.
All right, cool. And then we talk about who you guys think is going to win tomorrow between Real Madrid and Man City. Do we make it official?
Yeah, I made a score prediction. I said 2-1 Man City. I think Neil put his neck on the line, but
I don't know what to do because
I said 2-1 City.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be firmly on the fence on this one.
Yeah, I say 2-1-2, but Real Madrid.
So extra time.
Will it be?
Yeah, there's no away goals anymore.
Yeah, it's no away goals.
So 4-3 from the first one. That'll be extra time. That'll be tense. I mean, I wouldn't complain about seeing another extra half hour of that game.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I think if it goes to extra time, Madrid will win it.
All right. I feel like, I don't know, man. And this is based on just nothing. Maybe it's just me just wanting Real Madrid to win this game because, but like I'm not even like looking at any facts or anything. I'm just going on a feeling of just what they've just done to get this far already. They're already La Liga champs. They're facing the potential Premier League champs. This weekend, those players, let me see what Espanyol is in the league. In La Liga.
I think they're sort of lower mid-table.
Yeah, they're 14th. But, they're
like the Southampton of La Liga.
Yeah, they got 39 points. They should be safe, but maybe they're not. Yeah. But I don't know, man. We'll see. I'll say Real Madrid will go through. That's how I feel. Like, I feel like Real Madrid got them where they want them. And Man City's going to attack. And like you were saying, that, Real Madrid knows how to counter. They played a lot like that this season. And it's like, why not? And you're in the Bernabeu. That crowd is going to be going for it the way they did against PSG, the way they did against Chelsea. It's just all of that. I don't know. It might be too much for City. So we'll see. Yeah. And Real Madrid got a Benzema. Man City don't.
It'd be fun to see Benzema win. Like, he's won Champions League under Ronaldo's shadow, but it'd be fun to see him. I think it was one Champions League where it was Ronaldo, then the other one, Bale won it. I think Benzema deserves the Champions League to his own.
Yeah, he did good in one of those ones against Juventus. Like he opened Juventus, if I remember.
Yeah,
but he did that.
I think the whole Premier League should want Man City to win the Champions League. Because I think the sooner Man City win the Champions League, the sooner Pep leaves.
Pep, please.
Pep, yeah, he just extended his contract.
No, that was Klopp.
Is it Klopp's done it? I think.
No. I think he did. I think he did too.
Pep did it too.
Let me see. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think it's official. I think he's talked about it. I don't think he's officially done it. But I think if he won the Champions League, I think he would see that as the project complete.
Let's see. Pep Guardiola agrees Man City contract extension ahead of impending Erling Haaland 2 days ago. Agrees, extends. He'll extend just because Haaland is coming. Haaland, I think, got him excited. So speaking of Haaland, I was just going to say we could go. Mino Raiola really died. He died twice last week.
Yeah.
Once it didn't take, the second time it takes. So what happens now with Haaland? Who, like, you had a funny...
I don't know. I think Haaland goes into the boardroom at Man City for those negotiations and gets the Ouija board out. So he's like, I'm still tied to this dude. We need to start a seance for these negotiations. He's still involved.
So you mean Whoopi Goldberg from Ghost is going to pull up in the negotiation room and close the deal through Raiola, and Raiola's going to pull up like Patrick Swayze and talk to and make this deal.
Yeah, he was that much about his money. I reckon he will appear as a spirit demanding his cut.
Does he have Mbappe too?
No.
But and then what's going to happen with him, and what happens to Pogba? Like, all those people got to be crushed. So I feel bad for them. You know, Ibrahimovic, they were all close to him. But business-wise, like, what happens now?
I'm sure, like, because he was apparently not a very quick thing. Like, he was ill for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, they must have come up with some sort of line of succession.
Yeah. And also, he owned it as like a company. It was an agency.
Right.
So there's probably other staff there that will keep it ticking over until, a decision can be made. But I'm just looking at his list of clients here. So Haaland is the most valuable in terms of like market value. De Ligt, Donnarumma, Pogba, Verratti, De Vrij, the Inter centre-back, Gravenberch. Yeah, they've got Gravenberch, who's the sort of talented Ajax youngster. He's like 19 years old. Moise Keane, whatever happened to that guy?
He's over at he's back at Juventus.
But yeah, he's got Romagnoli, the Milan centre half. Denzel Dumfries for Inter, the Dutch guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few others on there. Mkhitaryan. There's a bunch of guys. Yeah, Ibra. It's interesting. We're talking about Milan centre backs. It's quite interesting this weekend watching Tomori give his interview in Italian.
Oh, snap.
On the Milan channel. Yeah, he's been learning Italian. They love him out there as well. He's definitely the one that got away for Chelsea, especially with the players they've got leaving right now. No buyback clause as well on that one.
Yep, no buyback, nothing. It's so crazy. Like, we sold Tomori in the January window of last season, and the reason why we sent him out on loan with an option to buy for Milan, and like, Maldini was already singing his praises. So there's no reason a young centre-back is going to go out there and not be absolutely taken in by that praise from probably one of the greatest centre-backs of all time. And so we sent him on loan. And the reason we sent him on loan was because he was not getting enough game time under Lampard. That deal was done literally 2 days before Frank Lampard was sacked. So you knew a sack was coming. you knew there could be a change of manager. And what does the manager do? He comes in and immediately starts using 3 centre-backs, which effectively means you now need more centre-backs. And he sold the guy who you had and who was doing really well in the early part under Lampard too. So you knew how much talent he has. And despite knowing that the reason why you're having to send him away is going, that reason itself is going, you still go ahead with that deal. Like, it's just bizarre, like the kind of things that happen.
It was like when Everton sold Digne because he hated
exactly.
Benitez and then fired Benitez the day after.
Right. And then Lampard comes in and he's like, well, I would like an attacking fullback.
I think they were busy with the sacking to pay any attention to the Tomori deal. And the same thing with Benitez. Like when you
like you need people who have their eyes there in all directions.
I mean, everybody's trying to bail the water out where the hole is coming, and Lampard is where the hole is coming. It's the hole where the water is coming in. So it's like it's all hands on deck, and then you're like, oh shit, we forgot about. There's another hole right here, and then by the time you realize it, it's like gone.
I think it's worked out well for Tomori though, because I mean, there's no telling that he would have been a definite starter under Tuchel, and Tomori, yes. You know, he's got to go learn defending from the best, from the Italians. He's potentially looking like he's going to win a league title. I mean, that race still is not over yet.
Yeah, that's time.
I mean, Milan are always like my favourite Italian team, and they've not won in the Serie A for so long now. So it'd be really good to see them win with an English player in there as well. I'd be really pleased to see that.
I didn't know that.
I mean, yeah.
AC Milan's my favourite Italian team too.
Yeah, it was just in the 90s when I was watching them, because there was a football show on in the mornings at the weekend called Football Italia. And this was in the heyday of Serie A. It was on Channel 4. You put it on and, you know, I'd see like, you know, Ruud Gullit and Rijkaard and Van Basten playing for Inter, for AC. And then as the years went on with the classic teams they had, so the team that had like Kaká and Shevchenko and Seedorf and Gattuso and some of those defenders like Baresi, Maldini back in the day, like in the older team.
Maldini was my forever favorite.
Yeah, when they had him and Baresi centre back, that was for a little while. And Costa Curta as well.
Was Neto there too?
Nesta,
yeah.
I mean, he came later. He played with Maldini briefly, I think.
It was the end of Maldini.
Yeah, because Maldini sort of spanned a whole massive period there. But Inzaghi was one of my favourite forwards ever as well. Pippo Inzaghi. He was just pure out and out number 9 goal scorer. Didn't leave the penalty box.
Hilarious.
So yeah, it was they're one of my favourite teams. Yeah, they've just been absolute dog shit for
a long time
now.
Yeah.
For at least a decade. So yeah, it's nice seeing them come back, and hopefully they can get it over the line and then not let Inter come back into it. But yeah, that Inter team might get picked off. I've already seen like there's a few clubs I think that want Lautaro Martinez. United or one of the teams linked with him actually, trying to send Martial the other way.
Yeah, I think Martial should definitely go because he's not lighting up where he's at now, and it's like it's a wrap. Did Greenwood just get arrested or something like that? Or is
he's had his bail extended?
Meaning, so he's out of jail.
Yeah, he was never in jail, I don't think. Right. He's always been on bail, but that bail has been extended, so the hearing is going to be further down the line now. So he's still in limbo. It just means he's in limbo for longer, I think.
Yeah, that on bail term, the way they were saying it on Sky News kind of confused me. That's not how we say it here. So he's on bail, and they wouldn't say if he was out or in. And they made it sound like he was in. And I was like, that's not how we say it here. So I couldn't figure it out. I was like, let me ask somebody way more English than me what they mean by on bail. Yeah.
Yeah, it means he's out, but he's awaiting trial or awaiting a hearing.
All right. Well, cool, guys. Anybody got any last words or things they want to say? Neil's on the fence at the Champions League game tomorrow. I'm going for Real Madrid. Leeds rooting for Man City, who's going to lose. Spurs lost. We didn't get to do that. Well, they won. That's why we didn't talk about them a lot.
You must have thought they lost because Martin didn't show up. Normally, he just doesn't show up when they lose. Well, normally when they win, he's here. So yeah, it feels like they lost.
It feels like that. That's what it was. All right. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate y'all. Thank you, Aaron Brungardt, producer. And I'm still going to put that podcast up that I did with Asensio from Austin FC. Maybe I'll do it next week because it's like a standalone bottle episode. So I'll probably do it next week. And, enjoy your football this week coming up. Enjoy Champions League, and we'll see what happens on the weekend. Manchester United won a game. So that's rare. And but who knows? But thank y'all and see y'all. Be good. One.